To be honest, I mean, it's difficult to measure these things, but from where I sat, morale's always been pretty good. We've got a really proud playing group, and sure, they've been very disappointed with performances, but I couldn't question their intent and their morale at training. So our focus has been very much on fixing some things that needed fixing, and we were confident if we fix those things, we'd start to see better results. So we got the result today, but I'm still really conscious that we've got some things we really need to keep improving on.
What did you think of overall? How would you assess that? Pretty comprehensive, but as you say, still some things to...
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty dominant performance in most areas. We still leaked a couple of easy goals, and our scoring accuracy is still something we've got to keep working on. I mean, as they say, bad kicking's bad football, and we had a lot of shots at goal. We had a lot of opportunity to get the ball inside our forward 50 and generate a score, and too many of them were behinds.
Brad, you won the contested ball last week by 20 and lost the uncontested ball by, I think, 87. This week you've narrowly, basically, lost the contested ball by 3. It's a lowish number. You won the uncontested by best part of 100.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you about your team and what you're doing?
Yeah, well, quite a bit of it, I think, is kicking efficiency, Jake. I mean, if you're able to win the ball, that's probably still the hardest part of footy. It's the fundamental of the game that will never change. Got to be able to win the ball in a contest, and so I thought we were okay at that today. But we're able to retain it a lot better than we have, in the last month or so of footy. So our retention when we got the ball was much better, which enables you to generate more and more uncontested possession, and guys are able to work out into space. So I thought that. Yeah, well, I thought that the inclusions we had today really helped us in that regard. I thought Ben Spate was fairly lively and showed some good pace, and I thought Kieran Harper had a terrific debut. I thought he did some really, really good things for us, and he showed signs of why we think he's going to be a really good player for us.
Brad, more than half the team were goal scorers. Pleasing sign.
Yeah, and it is pleasing because we've left a lot to too few. So to see Sam Wright having a lot of shots at goal, Lindsay Thomas having lots of shots at goal again, that part of it was pleasing. We'd like to convert a little bit better, but yeah, we are starting to spread the load, and we definitely need to do that because probably since I've taken over as coach, we've relied on too few. So to spread the load was pleasing.
You out-tackled them 60 to 37. Was that a particular focus?
No more so than it usually is. I mean, it's always a really good indicator for all clubs. So, that's really just a reflection of intensity. So, that's a pleasing stat. But we didn't go in with a massive focus on that. It's I suppose it's always a massive focus. So it wasn't any more so than usual.
You mentioned a few of the young boys. What about the captain?
Well, he sets extremely high standards for himself. So and whenever you see Kane Corns go to him at the start of the game, you think some players would think, Kane Corns is an extremely good tagger and it's going to be a tough day. He relishes the challenge. He's used to players coming to him, and he knows that each week he's going to be targeted by the opposition, and like all true competitors, he doesn't shy away from that. He enjoys it, and he put in another really, really good performance again.
Just during the week, setting the team up for longer term success, did you see enough today to think that you're on the right track? You build on that?
Look, I think our results haven't been good up until today, but what I have been pleased in is that we've always had competitiveness. I mean, I haven't seen anything that's just made me think we're not very good at this game. I've seen some things that we've let ourselves down in, but I've always been really confident that if we could fix those, then we're competitive. I never question our guys' intent. So I think those fundamentals have been there, but it's just tidying up a few areas that have let us down, and we defensively we were much better today. So and that's really what got us the result. Well, he doesn't look too good. He's pretty sore. I spoke to him as he was already in the ambulance going off to hospital. So he's got a sore lower back. So I don't know exactly what that means until we get some scans. But he's pretty sore.
And Jack?
Oh no, he's okay. He just got a bit of a knock to his calf. So we just felt that it was tightening up a little bit, so we thought it was wise to sub him when we did. We just didn't want to risk putting him back out there and having him risk tearing his calf. So it's just a knock, but it should be okay.
So what are we looking at for Lockie Hansen? I mean, the details still scant.
Yeah, it's very difficult to tell. All I know is that he's got a sore lower back, and whenever there's any risk of spinal injuries, they just immobilise the player and send them off to hospital as a precaution. So, I mean, he could wake up tomorrow and be fine, or it could be something more serious. But we really don't have much information on that at the moment.
What's his movement like in terms of his arms and everything?
Oh no, he can feel. He's got full feeling in his toes and his fingers. So we're confident there isn't any nerve damage. But whenever there's risk of a spinal injury, he doesn't move too much. They immobilise him. They've strapped him to a stretcher, and he can't move even if he wanted to.
Brad, there was an unfortunate incident early in the third term from one of your cheer squad members. Are you aware of what took place?
No.
Spectator allegedly pushed Daniel Motlop after he kicked a goal.
Oh well, I didn't see this. The first I've heard about it, mate. But if that happened, that's disappointing. Players should play and supporters should support.
Looking ahead to next week, I know that you're keen to play it down, but you will be coaching against your brother. What's the feeling like?
Oh, I understand it's going to be interesting because it's the first time that two identical twins have coached against each other. So I understand there's going to be some interest in it. Chris and I are really focused on what we're doing, with our own football side. So, now that you asked the question, it's the first time I've actually started thinking about it. But it's an opportunity for us to play another really good side, down at their home ground. So we get a chance to test ourselves. But look, he knows how I think, and I know how he thinks. So it'll probably come down to the players.
And the emphasis on playing those top four sides, it was big before Collingwood. Will it be the same for you this week?
Oh, it is, just because if you want to become a good side, which we're desperate to be, then you've got to be able to compete against the best. So it'll always be a focus. The last few weeks I've been fixing some areas that have really let us down, and I think we went some way to improving that today. Not all the way, but some way to improving. And if we can really fix those areas, I'm confident that we can get to a level where we can compete against those sides. But we're still a fair way off that, and we haven't proven it yet. So it's another chance to do that.
Well, at this stage, do you still talk about look at finals, or do you look at just week to week? Or do you say we still want to play finals, or do you just not go?
No, I wouldn't even consider finals because they're so far off in the distant future that they're largely irrelevant in my thinking. My thinking's always been around improving the individual players themselves, getting them up to a standard where they can compete against the best, and improving us as a team so that our system will stand up against any side. Now, until we can do that, playing finals, it won't help us if we sneak into the finals and we still can't compete against those sides. So we've got to focus on the little things that are going to make us a good side. And when we get those things right, then I'm sure the finals appearances will start to happen.
Will you and Chris have a bet?
No, we're not allowed to bet on football.
What about against each other though? Will you mow your lawn for a month?
Not even allowed to do that, believe it or not.
Really?
No.
Is there a phone ban this week? You're not going to talk to each other, or how's Mum feeling?
Oh, Mum's a massive North supporter. So, she was a Brisbane supporter there for a while, and she was a bit of a Hawthorn supporter, but now she's a North supporter. I got in first, so, she can't change. She'll be breaking for North.